So, you had a bunch of theories that didn't turn out correct. You screwed up. Maybe you thought you were being smart. But take it from a guy who graduated magna cum laude. The only way to be smart is to shut the fuck.
Welcome to Maganda Forever podcast. Sorry for the hiatus. I'm one of your co-hosts, Monica.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Vince.
And today we'll be covering the last 2 episodes of WandaVision.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
It's
everything about it.
over.
Dude, what the hex is going on, man?
What the heck is good? Stop this. Stop recording. You wrote that down. That's not fair.
I did. Finally, dude, finally.
Okay, time out.
I was waiting for that one.
It's just like, oh, it's been delayed. I gotta get this joke off already.
Thanks for joining us. 2-week hiatus is a long time to not talk about WandaVision.
I can't even remember what happened. Why don't you hit us with the rundown?
Okay, so starting from episode 8, I believe, second to last, we kind of jump right back into when she's locked up in Agatha's basement, and she's teaching her about like witches use spells and you're a witch, and you delve into everything that happened in Wanda's background. So she uses her kids, or Agatha uses Wanda's kids to kind of lure her into reliving a lot of her past traumatic experiences that shaped her as a witch. So the first one was...
You were right. Who was that? Vince was the one who said sitcoms, because that's how she grew up and how she was she got accustomed to American, or how she got introduced to American life was through sitcoms. So that was a good guess there.
Yeah, especially for something as traumatic as like the explosion that we only heard verbally, them talking about like sitting there staring at Stark's name and the blinking light and waiting for it to go off. But to also have the sitcom running, like her favorite episode at the same time. So it like kind of poisons that comfort for her, but it becomes like a coping mechanism.
That was really dope.
Yeah, so we go straight from there into we finally see her interact with the stone in Loki's scepter for, I forget, it's the Mind Stone, right?
Yeah.
In Loki's scepter. So we find out that instead of being experimented on, like kidnapped and experimented on by Hydra, they actually volunteered because they were part of that radical group trying to just go against Tony Stark for the weapons that terrorists repurposed and killed their parents with. We don't get to see Quicksilver, but we do see her interact with the Mind Stone, which was wild.
And you see this?
She got that vision. Yeah, she got that vision, dude.
No face. It
Could've
was
been
ill,
anybody.
dude. You know what it reminded me of? Another classic show, Smallville, when that dude who could read the future, he was like,
Oh
he
my
touched
God.
Clark, and then you just see the cape flapping in the wind. You don't even see anything else.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, snap, dude.
And then you don't see that cape flapping in the wind until the last episode.
Man, a great show inspired by another great show.
The finale was the only good episode, dude.
Oh man.
But yeah,
So
anyways,
good.
going from that traumatic experience, Agatha's still not happy with like, so is that when you became the witch? Is that when you became the witch? Like, how'd you get your powers?
Oh yeah, and the reason she's
That was
doing all
dope.
this is because she's trying to figure out how Wanda created the whole hex. So it was her who did it.
Yeah.
She did it.
Yeah, which was also like the pretty much, as we mentioned before, there's a lot of like red herrings, a lot of misdirection, because that whole thing about Agatha all along.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, was it really? Because it's kind of is, but then it's kind of
I
not.
think she
because
was
you
the
kinda figure
one
it out.
causing the hijinks, like at the
Yeah.
talent show and all that. But yeah, so Wanda's the one who made the hex
Mhm.
and she controlled everybody into
Yeah.
Which I think we called in one of the previous episodes, not that Wanda created the hex and everything was her doing. She wasn't being manipulated into creating it. But we called that I lost my train of thought. Oh no.
We called so many things, dude. I had a theory.
Let's go into all the theories that we were wrong about. We should just hit them up with it right now. So no Mephisto that we know of.
I just remembered what I was gonna say.
I was wrong about Vision's dead body. It wasn't his dead body. She saw it, and then she created the Vision. She just busted that magic nut, just like, bah!
Are we just going into theories? We're still gonna recap the episodes.
I don't do recaps, because I just go straight into the meat.
Finish the recap, Monica. Finish the recap.
I was gonna say the thing I
then you find out it's Ralph the whole time. Oh, sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
The thing that we called in a previous episode, I can't remember if it was me or Matt, but it was Agatha was pulled to that center, like all of the energy that Wanda was casting off from the hex. Like she arrived because she was kind of like brought there. Like
she wasn't really brought there. She sensed it. And
no,
then
she sensed it. Yeah, she sensed that all that power was there. And I forgot to say, at the very beginning of this episode, you actually see a part of Agatha's backstory where her mother is the head of a coven, and they basically like burn her at they try to burn her at the stake with their powers because she delved into some kind of darkness, and Agatha ends up like sucking up all of their magic and then killing her mother, and then just like floating away. So that's kind of what she wanted to do with Wanda too, is strengthen herself by taking Wanda's magic. So that's why she's going into all these memories. The next one that we go into is right after, was it after Lagos? Or no, it's right after her brother dies. And Vision comforts her, trying to understand like her grief and like just human emotion.
Yeah. Hit him
Your
with
favorite
that quote. Hit him with that quote, dude. That was so good.
Wanda, I'm fucking horny.
But she's saying all she feels is grief. She can't remember any good times. And then Vision says Vision says
you got me, dude. You got me.
It's super poignant.
Vision says, "What is grief but love persevering?" So
good.
I like mine better.
You kind of sounded a little Austin Powers and less Vision. I did think it was interesting. Agatha didn't make her relive actually seeing Vision die and killing him. She made her relive him comforting her after losing her brother. So we didn't actually relive that moment in the movies. We just kind of moved on from there. Like, you wanted him back, so what did you do to get him back? And it shows like Wanda coming to the town, being brought to that specific plot of land by Vision, saying like, this is where we'll grow old together. And she just has that moment of grief where she just explodes and creates the hex.
They're really trying to fuck with me. They're really trying to fuck with me this episode. They knew I stopped taking my medicine for a while, and they were like, we're gonna get them in the feelings. That whole part. Oh my god.
Probably that probably was my favorite episode.
Dude, it touched my heart.
It was so good.
God.
It was so good. I really like how they I really like how they did like kind of a Back to the Future 2 type thing where they showed the flashbacks and all that stuff. And now things are kind of put into place to some of the theories, not all of our theories. But I thought a lot of the flashbacks were cool. Like you said, with baby Wanda and her being trapped by the bomb. That was really cool. I thought that was dope. And then, as you said before, seeing what some of the commercials were, like all the different sitcoms and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool what they did.
Oh, and then they hinted at that her powers may not be from the stone itself, because Agatha was like, oh, you did hex
probability.
Probability hex. Yeah, so that's why it didn't go off. It wasn't because they weren't waiting for it to go off and then it never went off because it was faulty. It was
hella cool.
It's because she she placed a hex, probability hex, and that's why it didn't go off, which is pretty dope. So we're starting to see that maybe Pietro did get his powers from the stone, but Wanda, when she looked into the stone, there was something already there that the other people didn't see. She kind of cut it off.
Yeah.
There's footage missing. So it may be that she already has those inherent witch powers. Maybe she was augmented by the stone.
Yeah. Which we did call in, or I think I called in, or not called, but it was from the comics where she's not the first Scarlet Witch. Her birth mother is the first Scarlet Witch, or
they didn't say that. They didn't say that. Did
no,
they say
I
that in
know,
this
but
episode?
I mean, like the fact that she
No, in the
has
comics.
inherent
In the,
powers.
yeah, in the comics
That's
they said
not
that,
a
but not in this.
mutation. Comes from the comics, where her mother was Scarlet Witch before her, and then her grandfather was Scarlet Warlock before them. But yeah, that's the belief, is that she always had witch-like powers. But we find out in the next episode that Agatha calls her the Scarlet Witch, and the Scarlet Witch is forged, not born, or like she's not
She's born, not forged, or
forged, not born.
She doesn't need incantations. Greater, she said it straight up. Greater than the Sorcerer Supreme. I was like,
yeah, I was like,
yeah,
what?
I was like,
get the hell out of here,
by
dude.
Agamotto.
Get out of here.
Open
Oh
by
my
Agamotto. Open
Dude,
by
that was
Agamotto.
crazy, dude. I was so surprised.
So she has.
I thought it was hella funny. She was like, "Didn't you know there's a whole chapter of you in the Darkhold?" And it's just like one picture. I'm like,
yeah.
That's me.
That's a quick read.
Yeah, dude, it was a picture, and it showed what that vision was, right? What she saw. She saw that vision. Yeah. And then on the other page, it was a bunch of like weird font. It looked like wingdings. I don't even know what it was, but I hope they maybe eventually they kind of explain what that might be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
you guys see that Hagrid Easter egg?
Stupid.
Stupid.
So
you're a witch, Wanda.
So Wanda, I think she always had witch-like powers, but I think without the stone, she wouldn't have necessarily been able to tap into it. But so even
like activated.
Yeah, I think she always had the potential to be the Scarlet Witch, because she never had to use incantations. Like Agatha said, like witches have to use incantations. They can use runes to like guard their safe space, so that they're the only ones who can use magic in that space. There's a bunch of rules that you need to learn over the period, like a long amount of time, to become as powerful as Wanda is to create that hex.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, at the end of that episode, you see the kids again, and Agatha's strangling them, and calls her the Scarlet Witch. And then
finally, the first time ever, and
the mid-credit scene also, we get a look, and it's the white vision that we talked about in another episode.
Well, Caucasian.
Yeah, he has visualigo. Okay,
visualigo. But I brought him up in a previous episode because I really wanted to see.
You did. You called it.
I really wanted to see him. I didn't call exactly.
That's one theory, right?
Oh, you also called the stages of grief.
Oh yeah. Was it? Yeah, they bundled. It's like 1 and 2 is this one, 2, 3 and 4 is this one.
And then like acceptance was her at the very end. You know?
Yeah.
Space Stone is in the middle there.
But
you called it.
So in the comics, that version of Vision, he's been dismantled so many times throughout the comics and put back together. In that instance, I believe he was dismantled, and then his personality is based off of Wonder Man, like his ability to understand emotions and kind of become a synthezoid, because he can like interact with people. Basically, his emotions, everything that makes him his personality, comes from Wonder Man, I believe.
Wonder Man.
And his original,
the secret of your power. Have you heard that Tenacious D song?
Yes,
sorry.
I have.
I'll cut that out.
I have.
It's actually Wonder Boy. Sorry, keep going.
But I think his original body too was like the synthezoid Human Torch, I think. So he's like a culmination of different superheroes.
Are you sure? I think you might be right. I don't know. You've been right so far.
But yeah, so when he's put back together in the comics, Wonder Man is like brought back to life or something, and he's like, I don't want you to use my personality anymore. It was taken from me without my permission. So he's just emotionless, and he like stays in that white version for a while. But like I'm not gonna go into it right now, but Wonder Man kind of did that also because he wanted to get with Wanda. So yeah.
Other things that I really liked about that episode was when Scarlet Witch. So we find out that Director Hayward is a lying son of a bitch who basically said in the earlier episodes in the season that, you know, Wanda stormed in there and she she broke in and she took Vision's body, which turned out to be a lie. And
Hey,
then
when he was talking to her, I was getting vibes that he might be Mephisto, because he was like, he said something about, oh, but I mean, you're the only one who could bring him back, or something like that. Remember, he said something. He was like kind of, he's trying to coax her into bringing him back to life, so that they could. Yeah. So I was like, oh my god. But I think he was just trying to get that weapon back. He wasn't anything supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
cool. And then so she comes in there, and then when she goes to see the body, and then she says like, I can't feel you. That part hella got me too.
They're telling you, they're trying to get you.
Dude, the nod to was that Infinity War?
That was Infinity War, right? Ultron.
No, it was Infinity War.
Oh yeah, it was Infinity War.
Yeah, when she's like when both of them were talking. Yeah.
They were spooning, and then she was like, I just feel you. I was like, sorry. Vibranium.
Oh, how did they cut vibranium, by the way?
I don't know. Who knows?
That was one of my questions.
They used the screw that it came with, the special wrench. That
thing that.
Yeah, the little. It's a hex.
It is. You're right. Damn, both of these guys wrote. Both of these guys
everywhere.
They wrote for this podcast. Time out. Hang on. I'm coming off the top.
You come with it.
Oh man. So going into the next episode, there's still the confrontation between Wanda and Agatha. Like Wanda straight up just trying to she threw a car at her. Shit.
Yeah. So the action is the most Wanda we've seen. She was getting into it in Civil War. The most we've seen her do was the flight.
Yeah.
And then moving cars.
Yeah.
And then in
she went against
in
Infinity a little bit.
She did. I remember all her emotions. She has this one. And then she has when she does that to Vision, and then he goes down on the ground.
She was doing this.
Then she starts sea walking.
This is the first time we actually see her fly, legitimately, long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Without the
up until now, and then in Infinity War, we see her do the long. It's almost like a jump, like a Hulk jump. She goes up to the roof, and then that's when what's his Vision is fighting that one dude. Sidian, whatever his fucking name was.
It's kind of like Wonder Woman. In Wonder Woman 2,
but in this one she was straight up flying. She was staying in the air, hovering, going shooting forward. So that was kind of cool to see. And then the Vision on Vision fight.
Dude, that was pretty
before
cool.
we get into the fight,
some of that was getting into Smallville graphics, but a lot of it was good. The production.
The fight, we have to talk about the confrontation when she first sees him.
You mean this? I thought you were powerful, or something like that. He was squeezing her face, dude. I thought you were gonna be cool. Wanda, I missed you.
I thought he was gonna choke her out, but they went with the minor twist where he's just squeezing her whole head.
Cool. Yeah. And then the part going back to with Wanda and Agatha, when she threw the car at her, there's a little Wizard of Oz kind of Easter egg.
The boots.
Yeah, the boots. And then that leads to White Vision squeezing Wanda's head, which I was hella surprised. I was like, oh shit, what the hell?
I thought he was gonna go for the classic choke and then raise and her legs are kicking, but he just went
yeah.
It was weird because it was like them two were working together, Agatha Harkness and Vision, but Vision was sent by the sword guys. So I don't know, it was weird.
I think Agatha was just taking the opportunity that she was distracted.
Yeah,
they weren't
great fights. Fights. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did the fights with Vision on Vision, when they would phase into each other.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Really cool. Yeah, so
are you gonna all right? Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do the Ship of Theseus part? We gotta cover it.
I will say,
you just left. Good point.
What if we did it?
Vision,
and said
Vision.
We did.
I am a sexy bitch.
You should have done that.
I will say the Vision on Vision fight ended the actual action. I wasn't expecting all the phasing, all of the aerial, all that stuff was amazing. But I it ended the way that I thought it would, where they just logic it to.
I love it. I love it. He's got his own fighting style.
Perfect.
That's his style. It's not going to be brute strength. It's going to be some stupid thought experiment.
Yeah,
That was cool, but then it was
good.
kind
I liked
of
it.
it for me it was kind of anticlimactic because they were
I like
they were
that.
fighting so much, but then he just bounced though.
I know,
Yeah, so-
but that's the vision. Like he's not going to
Yeah.
solve it with his
Very
powers.
logic.
He's going to solve it with his
Yeah.
like thought process. That's how he's always done it. So I like that part.
yeah.
He
so
just
the
gave him a
whole-
riddle that he couldn't solve, and they were just like, "I'm out of here." dude."
solved it.
You're gonna Google
the
it.
ship of the ship of Theseus, where you replace all the planks with restoration. Is it still the ship of Theseus? And then if you restore the original planks, is that the ship of Theseus? So it's crazy.
And then
But,
the white vision was like, "Why am I even talking to you? I'm not."
Well, and then so we have to mention the vision that came from Wanda's psyche that she just created out of nowhere using her hex. Well, she said that he is the part of the mind stone that resides in her. So she manifested him with whatever power she had left from.
Yeah, when she did that, when it was coming out of her soul, it was like
was
all the yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hey, the vision on vision after the confrontation, like when he left, the white one, the editing was kind of weird. Like the way it was edited, I thought the white one flew out and then he turned back into the colored vision, and then he would just be vision from now on. I didn't know it was the Wanda's vision.
Yeah, no.
Where did the white vision go? He
Well,
just
that's
flew
what I
out.
was
that's one of my questions. Yeah.
Well, so that's
yeah.
what
It didn't.
I was gonna
The
say.
editing was weird.
So Vision touched Wanda's vision touched the white one and was able to unlock all the memories that were kept from him, and he realized like, I am Vision. But it's kind of going back to the comics where since Wonder Man didn't let him have any of his emotions and everything, like you can have all the memories you had before, but it doesn't tie you emotionally to them or shape your personality. So he just like after it unlocked with him, he realized like who he was, and then he just left.
But all their memories without emotions. I'm Vision.
That's true.
But that just leads into a whole bunch of questions too, because do you guys think one that's going to be Vision in the MCU from now on?
I think so.
Or do you think that he's going to be, it kind of seemed like even at the very end when the Hex Vision was saying like, oh, I was a memory before made real, I was this made blah blah blah, but then he was like, who knows what I'm supposed to be next? So then for me, I kind of thought that like the way he said it, it kind of seemed like, of course we don't know what's going to happen and what he's going to be, but it kind of seemed like he was going to be evil. I don't know if you guys thought the same thing too.
I don't think he's going to be evil. I think it's going to take some time if they really go the route of reuniting her with him. And the whole thing about like, we've already said goodbye before, it stands to reason that we'll say hello again. So I think he's going to come back, but I don't know in what.
God, they really try to get me to cry out of both eyes. Man, it was building up in my right one just because my right one's my worst one. And then I'll hit my left one.
So good.
God, the writing in there just
it's so well done. We'll get to their goodbyes a little bit later because we still need to jump into the Agatha.
Oh,
fight.
there was also the when White Vision was still there, there was that scene that was set up kind of like the Incredibles with all four of them.
Oh,
that was so good. Yeah, when they did the
that
was sick.
Like, boys, your mother and I never prepared you for this, but you were born for it. Yeah. And then they kind of take on the military because so going back, Agatha kind of manipulates Wanda into like realizing how much torture she's putting everyone through by freeing them all at the same time. And during that time, Wanda's like, I didn't mean to do this, and then she takes down the hex temporarily so that they can escape. But then
Dottie was like, I haven't shit in 3 days. Shit. Have to.
But her vision and her kids both appear, and she realizes that all of them are tied to the hex. But while she's collapsing the hex, the military is able to come through.
It's so stupid. You can edit this out.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
He's crying. He's crying real tears out of both eyes.
There it is, dude.
Oh my god, dude. So good, so good.
But yeah, so the military comes in. I don't know who's able to escape while she temporarily took it down, but since her family was fading away, that's when she reinstated the hex. Still going.
Sorry.
His voice cracked.
Oh my god.
I had cheese yesterday. I'm gonna shit, Wanda. Just let me shit, Wanda.
If you like that storyline.
Hi, Wanda. Apple shit.
Oh my god.
All right, I'll edit this out.
Yeah, so
But that scene was dope. I did like the scene where all the when Agatha kind of released all the memories from the people, and then all of them were coming at Wanda, and then Wanda was kind of like defending herself. She was like, I didn't mean to do that. Like, I'm not
I
holding you
protected
guys.
you.
Yeah. And then she releases her powers, like, because everybody's going at her at one time. So she just releases the powers, then it kind of chokes everybody. That scene was pretty cool.
Yeah. It was when she was doing this to herself, wasn't she?
Yeah, because she was like suffocating
She's-
from like
yeah.
them overwhelming her. I did think it was
So good.
interesting. They didn't actually physically attack her. They just kept trying to plead with her, like, let my kids out of their room, let me hold them, free us. What about my family? It's like too many voices at once. So
Yeah.
she panicked and just like subjugated all of them. And then when they were like, no, let us free, she was like, okay. And then she lifted the hex, and then her family arrived and they were disappearing because they're so tied to it.
Which was hella cool. I don't know if you guys noticed this too, but when they were disappearing, yeah, they were dusting, but they looked like blocks, which was
I didn't
a nod to the House of M comic, the
the
nice.
where they're blocks.
Yeah.
So I thought that scene was hella cool too, because it shows Wanda kind of balancing different decisions. She's like, should I save the town? Should I save my family?
Yeah.
So that scene hella got me too, because it's you're pulling for both sides, and you see the pain that she's in.
Yeah. And of course, the military moves in while she can't make her decision, where the hex is kind of open but kind of closing. So they all roll through. And then it comes that scene that you mentioned where she reinstates the hex so that her family doesn't disappear. And then they have that little Incredibles moment when they do all of their superhero poses, where it's like they didn't really do the Avengers like, it was like a whole different one. They had their own theme, which was really cool.
Yeah. And then from there, Speed, he gets all the guns. And then if you guys notice, he had the hat too. Quicksilver.
And then Wiccan froze them.
Froze them at first,
He like slowed down time so that he could steal everything.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But then so he had the goggles too. He had the goggles like Quicksilver from the Fox movie. And then after that scene, it shows Director Hayward, and then he shoots at kids. Like,
dude.
Yeah.
So he straight up just wanted to shoot the kids.
He wants that vision back, dude.
He does, dude. Crazy. And then that's
Spectrum comes out of nowhere.
Spectrum comes out of nowhere, and then you see kind of her powers and the way that she's able to absorb kind of the bullet.
I didn't know. I didn't get it.
Down.
So
absorb the kinetic energy. I don't know.
She does absorb energy. I didn't know if she would absorb it in that fashion. She can phase too. I think she can phase kind of like Kitty Pryde.
Okay.
And then she like can see the energy rays or whatever. We have to talk about Ralph. We have to talk about Ralph Boner.
So what's going on there? I think that's another red herring. They're trying to throw us off. That has to be the Fox Quicksilver.
No, I think because she always talks about Ralph, and like there's papers that evidence that he lived there. Like she even said like it's a fake Quicksilver. I manipulated it to get more.
But why would it be Evan Peters?
There was a theory. I mean, who knows about all this stuff now, but like, so it could have been just a regular actor, because there's that headshot. There's a theory also that maybe that's the missing person that
the CIA or FBI.
Yeah,
because it's a headshot, so like that could be what they're going off of.
I think that theory makes more sense because the house that Agatha like kind of planted herself in, it's a 2-story house, a really nice house, and then like that guy is, it's kind of like the Fox Quicksilver where he's like, oh, do you want a smoothie? Like I'm playing the guitar, like let's hang out, whatever. So
yeah.
I
It's
think
got to be him. It's not.
yeah,
That's not accidental. It's gonna be him somehow.
yeah, that's a really great theory. I like that one. So yeah, they he's kind of keeping Spectrum away from the action, and then she figures out how to disable Agatha's power on him, and then she
By
escapes
using
to
her
help again.
powers, she can see that
Yeah.
he's being controlled by
Prayer
the
beads.
necklace.
It looked like a rosary.
Yeah, so she's able to see with her powers, like she can see like there's a like color outline on there or whatever. So she knows that he's being controlled by that. And then once she breaks it, that's when he breaks from the spell and whatnot. And then we kind of just see that it's just a regular dude, apparently.
Yeah.
But
I
then
hope
when
you're
she
right,
calls
though.
him Ralph, he's still under the trance, and he goes Ralph Boner, and then he laughs. So I feel like if she said that after the trance broke, he wouldn't have responded to it. I feel like that's not him. It can't be. It's not an accident.
Yeah. I really, really like that idea. I hope it's true that he's, because we never found out who the FBI uh what's it called?
Missing person.
Witness
Yeah.
protection.
Yeah.
And it would make sense why he would be in witness protection under Wu, because he's like affiliated with the Avengers and he's from a different timeline, possibly. The other reason why I like the idea of your WITSEC stuff is like Ralph Boner, like that had to be an agent's idea.
Maybe.
So
We'll see.
but yeah, I like that nod when Spectrum saves the boys and they're like, I like your powers, I like yours too, because Wiccan stops the last bullet from the director.
On the 8th episode, was there an end credit scene? That's
That
the
was the
penultimate.
White Vision.
That was that was a White Vision. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the 9th, the finale, had 2. There was a mid credit and a end credit.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to go into that now, or
I want to give a shout out to Darcy because she finally made it. She's like, have fun in prison.
that was so we'll go into like our overall impressions of stuff at the end, but yeah, I wanted to see more of her in the finale.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a whole deleted scene that they weren't able to do because of the pandemic, where the fight sequence was supposed to be more detailed between the boys, Spectrum and Darcy, trying to get the Darkhold, and then I think Ralph and the military are like the people that they're fighting, while Wanda faces off with Agatha and the Visions face off with each other.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy as hell for a show.
Yeah.
Man, so that takes me back to the Heroes finale, where like, oh, we're gonna fight, and then they go behind closed doors, and then that's the finale.
Well, it's supposed to be 10 episodes, so that's why, like, I think one episode would have been all of those fight sequences only.
That would have been great. Oh my god.
Yeah, that would have been dope. That would have been dope.
So unfortunate, but they still did a pretty decent job. You want to give us the breakdown?
We'll do the end of the episode. So after the fight, we kind of have a family scene where Wanda.
Do you want to do the face off between the two witches?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, so we just see like Agatha like guilting her into like, I'll make you have a happy life in the sitcom if you just give me your powers, because she's using her like energy sucking whatever she did to her mother's coven to Wanda. And Wanda, I feel like part of her just wants the decision taken away from her, so she doesn't have to be the one hurting the people, but she can still have her family. So she starts like forcing all of her energy onto Agatha. And then I noticed like she kept missing, like she kept hitting the walls of the hex, but I didn't know why until the very end, when Agatha tries to retaliate because she thinks she absorbed all of the magic from Wanda. And she was like, I put up runes, only the witch who cast the runes can use.
Is that when you think she put the runes? Was when she was missing?
When she hit, when she kept hitting.
Oh,
she was
super
okay.
yeah.
That's one of my questions I had was like, how did those runes get there?
Yeah, because I was like,
Okay.
she's like purposefully missing. She's not this bad of a shot, and Agatha's not
Damn, that's
really
so good.
moving.
She did
Yeah.
have black arms though. She's like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Well, do you think that was just like an illusion? Like she made
I don't think so.
herself
I
look
think when
moving?
she like Scarlet Witched on, that's when she like regained her
Yeah.
vitality.
I did think it was interesting when she tried to go into Agatha's mind and make her relive her traumatic experience.
Oh, that was
all
sick.
those
That was
witches
sick.
turned
And then she
on
flipped it on
Wanda.
her. And then
That was dope.
and then when they're on the rooftop and Wanda did the scary bit again, remember when
Yeah.
Ultron, when she like closes the doors, she walks backwards, but it's like choppy, like the girl
Oh
from
yeah, she did the
she
mind
did that
thing.
and then she hit him with a bomb. But when she
Dude,
like
that was
did that
sick.
the choppy walk, I was like, oh god, this is scary.
That was sick, dude.
So
That
good.
was a cool thing.
Oh my god.
So what was it? She basically turned the rules against Agatha, where it's like only the witch who casts the spell can like use her magic in the circle, who like drew the runes. And then we see her say like, what was it? I don't need you to tell me who I am. And then she sucks all of the magic back. I don't know if she also got Agatha's magic, because I saw some purple in there. I don't know if Agatha was just fighting back, but like she basically reabsorbed all her power, and we see the MCU's version of the Scarlet Witch costume, which was awesome. Like I think they did an amazing.
And I just realized
dude.
that they teased it on the
Vision?
the like you know when you go into Disney Plus and then they have the show and then they have the picture of it and it's TVs in front of their outfits.
Yeah.
And it shows Vision's actual costume and then it shows Wanda's. And it's like, we've never seen that before. So that's probably what her suit's going to look like. And it did. That's what it looked like. It's like burgundy. And then it's no sleeves. And then the first thing you see is this. You see this on her when the thing starts to come up.
Can't do it. You can see there's kind of like a Mind Stone shape in the.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh, also in the cutout of her dress.
Also in the cutout, yeah.
What? Oh, snap. I didn't even notice that. That's crazy.
I didn't notice the one here though.
It also there's like memes online, but like it looks like Magneto's costume.
That's what I noticed first. Like this in particular looks like Magneto's helmet.
So I thought it was interesting, like that manifested first, because even when she went into Agatha's memory, like in the original memory, that they're like when she was tried to burn her at the stake, her mother like manifested her own crown, and I just took that to mean like, oh, she's the head of the coven. And then when you see Wanda start to manifest, it is her like horns from the comics, so it's like her actual magic manifesting.
There was a weird theory that I wrote down that I thought would be hella cool that I saw online, but it was like, so in that flashback with the mom when she had her crown, they were saying that it kind of resembled like Atlantean magic and like the crown of like an Atlantean witch or something like that.
That'd
which
be interesting.
Could have been like a nod to possibly Namor and stuff like that. So I thought that was a really cool theory that obviously is not true.
I mean, you never know. They could bring it back if she encounters other magical like witches and stuff like that. So so she reabsorbs everything, calms everything down, takes down the hex, and then just locks Agatha in her.
She gave up her wish, dude. She gave up her Steve Trevor. She gave up her kids.
Yeah.
She did it for mankind.
Man, that scene was so good too. Like when so after all the fighting was done, they kind of see and then she has a talk with Agatha, and Agatha is just basically saying, you know, like, you don't know what you've done, and she's like, are you gonna kill me? Yeah. So maybe she does need her as some type of maybe a mentor or something like that, because
she does leave her there. She said, you're going to need me or something like that, right? And then she says, then I'll know where to find you.
Yeah. Which was one of my questions was, so she turned her back into the actor or the role, you know, and so she took down the runes and stuff. So even though the runes aren't there, does that mean that there's still like magic there that she's controlling?
I think
or like can Agatha get out of that because there are no runes?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of like what Agatha did to Ralph, where she's only controlling the one person. And
That's
then
how I took it
that's
too.
that's why I wasn't sure if she had assumed Agatha's magic when she sucked her own magic back, or if she just locked it in the memory where like she doesn't know that she has those powers.
But then again, you got to remember that Wanda's magic is not conventional. So she does. I mean, she used the runes, but does she need them?
That's
Like
true.
I took it as like she's so powerful as the Scarlet Witch that she can do whatever she wants. She can just lock it into one person.
That's true.
And tell me why, like when she was taking down the hex, I really thought Vision was just gonna live. I thought that was gonna be like the twist. Like everything comes down, but Vision's still there, and that's why I thought it was gonna be that white Vision who turned into the colored Vision.
Oh, okay.
Not to say colored, minority Vision.
Multicolored.
What is that? Color? Oh, color. Colored Vision. So
Well, so for my theories on where the actual Vision went, I think he just went in search of like answers for what happened to Thanos afterwards. Because when Wanda's Vision touched his stone, all he unlocked was memories that he lived, but he doesn't know the outcome of like Endgame or what happened to Stark, or like I think he just went in search of answers of what happened afterwards. That's my theory anyway.
trying to get some pigment.
He's just sunning himself.
He went to Kelly Moore Paint.
But yeah, Vince hit us with the family scene because I know that.
Yeah, so with the family scene, that part really got me. So after the whole scene with Wanda talking to Agatha, we get to a scene where the whole family is just walking back to their house. And so she has a really nice moment with her kids, both of them, both Wanda and Vision have good scenes with their kids where they tuck them in, but then at the same time, they can see the hex kind of closing in. So they know that time is kind of running out. So they kind of say their goodbyes. And Wanda has her moment with the kids where she says, "Thank you for choosing me to be your mom," which I thought was kind of weird. I don't know if you guys thought that too. Like, what, the choosing me for your mom? Is that kind of weird? Like, does that mean that there was? Yeah, I don't know.
So my thought process for that, because like in the reliving of the memories with Agatha, we see her manifest Vision, but she didn't really manifest the boys. Like they just kind of happened to her. So that's what I'm wondering. Like every time she tried to use her magic on them, she couldn't really influence them. They chose to grow up themselves, and like everything that happened to the boys, I feel like they chose. So
do you think they, I don't know, multiverse, they saw her mom somehow and they chose to go into this universe? Do you think that's what she might be hinting at?
I guess, I mean, like it's hard to say because the way they manifested in the comics is so different. Like they used Mephisto's soul,
Yeah,
to literally, like, she knew she was creating them, and like in the sitcom, it just kind of happened. So I feel like they could go in any direction at this point.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
from there they say goodbye, and then it's a nice touching moment between Vision and Wanda for the last time. Vision asks her a bunch of questions like, "What am I really?" And then that's when she kind of tells him that you are a part of me, you're a part of the Mind Stone, but mainly you're made of love or something like that. And that was a really good scene. And then he also is wearing like a Steve Jobs turtleneck, looking like The Rock. And that was just a really good scene too. And she's holding him, feeling the face, kind of like in an Infinity War. And then you can see him slowly, you can see the hex slowly going into them and taking him away. And I thought that scene was really cool.
That was so well done. Even just them walking and slowly transforming the hex. I was like, that poor person whose house they just jammed the car into. The car's still in that house. It's just a more modern car. But yeah, like when they're tucking the boys in, they didn't even tell them like this is what's happening. They're just like families forever and like good night.
Yeah.
And just kind of what parents do, where they're like protecting their kids from the bad things, you know.
Yeah.
But
hey, this is what Vision looked like in that turtleneck. You look like my boy DMX, dude. Yo, man, the Mind Stone. Get at me. I mean, that's not Vision right there, dude. Just put a Mind Stone on that dude.
That was, dude.
Everything fades. She's just standing in the empty lot like it started of her house.
Oh, I remember now.
She walks
Yes.
out of the town and people are giving her dirty looks, and Spectrum is like, where are you gonna go? Like, are you okay? Like, I think of all the people that had that kind of loss happen, she really understands her. Like, if I had your powers, I'd bring my mom back. Like, being real about it, like I would definitely grant my own wish. And then Wanda transforms into her Scarlet Witch with the hood and then flies away. And in the mid-credit scene, you see the FBI kind of cleaning up. I forgot to mention Agent Wu confronted the director about like his wrongdoing, was able to contact the FBI folks and like get them there to get all of the information to put the director away. But I really like Agent Wu's flourish when he broke out of the
Can you be here in an hour or so?
Yeah. So he's kind of taking charge of the whole crime scene of like triage for the people who are recovering from being under the spell, interviewing them for like what happened and how to collect all this data and stuff like that. And then an agent comes and tells Monica Rambeau that, we want to talk to you. We need to take your statement. So she goes into the empty movie theater, and it turns out to be a Skrull, right? Or
Skrull.
Tell me why that actor already looked like a Skrull.
Yeah,
like, already like Skrullish. That was in the
up, dude.
That was in the casting description, dude. Someone who looks mad Skrullish. Acts hella Skrullish. Yes, I'm here for the part. Like, fucking Skrull.
They basically
she was
said,
like, and then she's like, on the ceiling?
They said, oh, we heard that you're grounded. We heard you're grounded, and he wants to talk to you. And she just points at the sky. So they're talking about Director Fury.
I thought he was going to be on the balcony level. Like, so.
There's a theory that said that Skrull might be the same one that Monica was talking to in Captain Marvel, if you remember. There's a kid Skrull that was
oh dang,
they are the same age.
I saw that movie once.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, so there was in Captain Marvel, there was a scene where there's like a little teenager kind of age Skrull. So they're thinking that might be the same one that is interacting with Monica now.
Of the things that like from Wanda's Hex, I was curious about so Director Hayward used like particles of something that came out of the Hex to like use that energy to infuse into the White Vision to like kind of power him back up, since he was powered by an Infinity Stone as well originally. So it's kind of like, I guess, same resonance or something. It's basically Wanda's power did bring him back after all. And then when Monica like shot her clothes and it was like, oh, it's made out of Kevlar or whatever the material was for her bulletproof vest. Like, I wonder what else the FBI will collect that has like remnants of Wanda's magic, and if that's going to resurface as like artifacts.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
And then so that was the mid-credit scene, and then the post-credit scene.
Oh God!
The end credit scene. Wow!
Oh God! My Agamotto was open.
You see like this picturesque area. It's just a cabin, kind of like in the mountains.
She's about to do the Hulk. She's about to meditate.
I didn't realize I had this pointed out to me by someone else, that the music playing when it like pans around and you see her sitting on the steps drinking tea, it's the music from Doctor Strange. It's his theme music. So
even
makes sense because when you see her, she's astral studying like Doctor Strange did, except Strange was asleep when he was doing it, and Wanda was active physically and active astrally while doing two different things. So yeah,
she's already
above the
Sorcerer Supreme. Studying the Darkhold, so she brought it with her.
Oh, and what did she hear when she was studying the Darkhold, Kuya? I know you turned on the subtitles for that one.
Help me! Help us.
So good. So
But
good.
I will say, I was curious to hear your thoughts because like it looked like she was studying like Doctor Strange, but then when like she heard help, like she kind of looked up, like it jolted her, like not that she was looking for them, but that they called out to her.
And again, I think it's not her kids. I think it's Mephisto trying to
See,
fool her.
I think that the whole Mephisto theories, of course, we didn't get any
We
answers
but it
regarding that,
makes
but I think
sense
it's
that yeah.
still
I think it's so.
still
I
in
think so
there.
too. I think that the hex, like he didn't create it, but he definitely pushed her to that point. He had a hand in doing it so that he could get her to make kids, and it's like a long game. It's like he's playing the long game.
Yeah.
Eventually, he's gonna get to Wanda, but it doesn't make sense to show him at first.
Yeah.
He's gonna end up being
Especially
the
in
big
his
bad.
show, like I
Yeah.
feel like if it was a movie, like maybe they would kind of hint at, okay, this is going to be the real big bad.
Yep.
But in terms of a show, it's not at that level yet. Where like that's where they're going to introduce.
Definitely too early to show it. That's something that DC would do.
They I was I forget the names of all the things in the comics, but I read online that they were where the mountains were could be where she was born, like where the chaos.
Where Sokovia.
Yeah, where the chaos like demon, or I forget what it
Chthon.
called. Huh?
Chthon, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Chthon. So Chthon is the originator. I think he's the originator of.
Did they say that in the show? You guys talking about comics and stuff?
Comics.
Oh, I'm not too familiar with
that.
So
Chthon is like this demon almighty being. I forget what they're called. There's a bunch of them. But I think he's the original person who wrote the Darkhold.
He is, yeah.
And his mountain where like where we think she is right now.
I forgot what it's called.
Where I forget too, but that's where Wanda and Pietro were born, and I think Chthon kind of like saw that she had magic and like infused her with chaos magic.
Oh.
So
yeah.
That's where a lot of people are theorizing that she went to study the Darkhold because it's close to where it came from.
Oh, that would make perfect sense.
So up until now, everyone's been kind of theorizing that she's going to be Strange's apprentice, but I'm starting to think she's going to be the protagonist. I think she might be the protagonist, and then Strange is going to be
or the antagonist.
Antagonist, and Strange is going to be the protagonist in that movie. Yeah,
it's hard because Agatha said like you were like
you were meant to destroy the world.
Yeah, you're foretold to destroy the world. Like they talk about the Scarlet Witch and she is pure chaos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which it really calls back to, I think of like Raven from the comics, from DC Comics, where like she's meant to bring Trigon, the Eater of Worlds, or whatever. It's like, can you really escape your destiny?
Yeah.
Man.
So that was the end of it. But what are your guys' overall impressions of the show? Or like maybe we can talk about questions or theories moving forward. What do you guys
have they confirmed a season 2 coming?
No.
I don't know, because I
feel like this might be a limited edition. Like it's a limited series. It's going to lead into a movie, and then it's going to expand from there. I think that's what they're doing.
I think that's what it is. They did not confirm or deny that there was going to be a season 2, but I mean, like even just that music cue, like people are wondering, is that just to say she's going to reappear in Doctor Strange, or is this a scene from Doctor Strange? Because they've done it in the past times where it's like you put newspapers in your shoes.
Yeah. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Strange is like hearing of this in his own, like when in his own timeline, like his own going on, and he's like catching wind of what's going on in Westview, and then
he's like.
Also, the name of the episode is called series finale too. So it's
it's called series finale, not season.
Series finale.
Oh, interesting. Didn't catch that. I read it. I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, so maybe like you were saying,
that could be two ways, where it's like the series finale of WandaVision, but the series finale of her sitcom.
Oh, damn. That's deep. I like that. That's interesting.
But I mean, the way Marvel's doing things, like they're not beholden to a formula at all. Like they could do it organically. We'll have a season here, goes into a movie. Maybe we'll have another season. Maybe we won't even call it WandaVision.
They're
we'll
not
call it
locked into anything.
Yeah.
So they could do whatever they want, however they want to tell the story.
Yeah. But I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. So WandaVision ended, And then last Friday, instead of a regular episode, we got the making of, which I didn't get a chance to catch. And then next Friday is Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 1. So they're gonna have like release on release for pretty much all of 2021, which I am.
Did you guys like?
I wonder if they're gonna keep that gap in schedule. Like, is it gonna be a week between releases of each show? Like, I don't know when Hawkeye's coming out, but that's coming eventually. And Miss Marvel.
I wonder if they did that because WandaVision was originally supposed to be 10-week release.
Oh,
like it's supposed to be 10 episodes. So maybe they're just like, we'll just release a making of. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Did you guys like that was the first Disney Plus show?
I think if that's like a taste of things to come, then hell yeah.
Yeah.
If it only falls off from there, then I'll be disappointed. But I have a feeling that Marvel's gonna up it every single show.
I feel like also with all the restraints or like constraints they had because of the pandemic, like they're kind of testing out, like not all the CGI was completely finished. Like you said, some of the Vision fight looked a little bit off, but that's because they couldn't really like work on it how they traditionally would. A lot of the fight scenes had to.
It looked really good. I was just a lot of it. You can definitely tell like this looks kind of funny, but for the most part, it was movie quality.
Yeah, it's not Blade.
Give Blade a break, bro. It came out in 2002.
It's like Blade, Wonder Woman 2, like her
the version of Wolverine that I had.
Wolverine Origins.
I put Blade over Wonder Woman 2 just because like it came out for its time. Wonder Woman it's just the mall scene. She was really like his cape, like the Matrix. But anyways,
yeah, I agree with you guys on that it was a good start. I think that they wanted something to catch people's attention and to attract, like more subscribers and stuff like that. And I think that they really did that. I think that they accomplished what they were hoping to do. And I think the quality of the shows hopefully will be just as good moving forward.
I think this is I'm going to say it's a better formula because they have more room to tell a story. It's not confined to 2 hours. It spans a whole wide, it's episodic. I like that. I think it's going to.
I think one of the pitfalls that they fell under in their first Avengers movie, where they first encountered Scarlet Witch and everything like that, it was a lot of too many people and not really good storytelling for each one.
It was too many, too little time to do it, and not the person handling it wasn't masterful enough to do it like the Russo brothers.
Yeah, so that's why it's I agree. This is a much better formula for them because you can have time to care about people. Some people are like, I don't really care about Wanda. I don't really know much about her or Vision. Why are we seeing WandaVision? But it gives even the casual viewer enough time to care about their storyline. And the writing is just.
Imagine trying to tell a poignant story as this in a 2-hour format. There's no buildup of that those first 2 episodes where it's just sitcom and nothing else.
Yeah.
And then the middle where it's exposition and you start to learn what's actually going on, and then the end where it's super action heavy and there's everything gets resolved, there's resolution, and then there's cliffhangers. There's no way to do that in 2-hour format and tell as powerful a story as what they did with this season.
I will say I'm still just because one of the reasons why I know a little bit more about Wanda in general is because growing up I mostly read X-Men, so I have some background, more knowledge about them versus the Avengers as a whole. I think I'm okay with what they did with Agatha and Agnes. It was interesting, but it's kind of.
Also, another thing I was wrong about. I thought she wasn't going to be the villain of the story, but she.
It was a little weird to me because in the comics I don't believe she's a straight up villain. I think she's just.
She's the mentor.
But again, this is just the beginning of the story. She may evolve to that later on down the line. She may become. Maybe she was misunderstood. You never really understand why she was tied at the stake, and then they try to suck her.
Well, they just said you broke one of our rules or something, and you delved into.
But maybe she was in the right, and then maybe she was lashing out because they targeted her. That's why she became evil. But then she could reform. Yeah, never know.
True. I thought that it was interesting that they made her kind of decimate her coven, where I think in the comics her son tried to do that, and she worked with them to protect the witches or something like that. Like she's not purely good, but I think she's kind of like magic for magic's sake. Like she took away Wanda's grief by taking away her memories instead of dealing with the actual grief and the root of the problem. Stuff like that, where it's like, oh, I'll just do this. Like,
Yeah, I hope to see her again. I think I mean, I don't know like contractually if Catherine Hahn is signed up for other things, but it would be nice to see her kind of like a Loki type character where
yeah,
she kind of has that good and bad sides, and
I I definitely think we're gonna see her again for sure.
I
And
hope
Catherine
so.
Hahn did amazing with it.
Dude, she's so good. And same with
So good.
Elizabeth Olsen, like their acting chops was
So good.
really good.
Yeah. Even just the nuances of like every time it's like previously on, and like just
Yeah, all
having
those little
to
details.
basically learn a new decade for a new episode, like
Mhm.
each recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Yeah.
Were there any things that you guys didn't like, or like didn't like about the finale, or anything in the season?
I kind of wish that my theory about uh or it's more Mars theory about Castle Doom was true, that it would lead more into the Fantastic Four, just because like
That'd have been cool.
Agatha
I
does have the background with the sun.
I wish we got to see another Avenger. I really thought it was going to be
I-
Hawkeye. I really thought it was going to be Doctor Strange, but they're saving it.
Yeah,
They're playing the long game. They're not going too hard. Like they're not bringing it too soon. So I commend them for not.
yeah.
being
A
too-
lot of it, a lot of kind of my disappointments in a way is just because like all those fan theories online, or like our theories, they didn't really come true, of course. So like that part kind of sucked. But there's also, I thought that there was kind of too many like red herrings, like a little too many distractions. But like you said, if they're doing stuff for the long run, then it works out. Like I'm sure that they're going to answer more stuff, just not everything that we were speculating.
Yeah.
So we
And
just got caught up in
it's a lot
all the excitement.
it's a lot of source material too, because I think like in one of the interviews I either read or listened to, I forget, but like the showrunners didn't really know about Mephisto, so they just had Agatha as the big bad.
Yeah.
Which I think if they did add Mephisto, it would have been too much content to really tell a thorough storyline. So it makes sense why they just made Agatha the bad guy.
Yeah.
I do think in that fight scene that I mentioned that got deleted, between the kids Spectrum and Quicksilver, I think they also said that Senior Scratchy was supposed to be a demon or something
the
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the writer or director or something like that, I forgot his name. His name is like Matt something, Matt Schaefer maybe. But he was on Kevin Smith's podcast, and he talked about some of the things that Monica was just saying, how like they were originally supposed to have 10 episodes, but because of the pandemic, they shortened it. They had those deleted scenes with the boys and Monica running in the basement. There was a scene with Scratchy, supposed to be a demon, and then he was saying that the whole Mephisto thing, that was not any of their intentions at all. Like
Yeah.
they didn't mean to mislead people. It was more of just
It worked.
fans.
I mean, it got us looking in the wrong
I
direction.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then even with the engineer, like they had no intention of making it some crazy like Fantastic Four type thing. It was just all of us, all the fans, just going with our crazy theories. So they loved how the show took off, but that
Stir the
was
pot.
yeah, they just made it more simple, you
Yeah.
know. So that was one of the things that like I wish that they addressed, like who was the engineer and stuff like that, or who is it really Mephisto? But I'm kind of glad that they didn't do it, but I really wish that some of our theories were right.
I think we really just wanted more. Like I would have been so down to see Hawkeye again, but again, like after 5 years of not seeing your family and just murdering a bunch of folks, like he has different things, priorities on his mind, versus like when he came to bust her out because he like kind of became her big brother after she lost Pietro.
You could have shot a telegram. Just be like, Westview.
But also, if of course a lot of us were speculating it would be Doctor Strange to show up, but if you think about it too, at that time when it took place, she hasn't really had any encounters with Doctor Strange. Like
That's true. He was off world.
Yeah, he was off world, and then in Endgame, when they all showed up, they didn't really talk.
That's true, but then again, it's the Sorcerer Supreme's job to protect the world against supernatural threats, whereas the Avengers is against physical threats. So I feel like she would have registered on his radar somehow if he was on world.
I can see her being the antagonist because he's supposed to protect from all that stuff, and if it's very black and white about like you're bringing chaos, you're gonna bring the destruction of the world, like I can see that, but I can also see it flipping where like now I'll teach you the right way.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't have to follow the destiny of becoming the destroyer of the world.
Yeah.
And then maybe he'll be more of he'll kind of fill that mentor role instead of Agatha.
I think in the comics she was mentored by both, mostly Agatha, but I think she also had a pretty strong affiliation with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Do you know, I haven't paid attention to any of the casting notes or a lot of the trailers because I kind of want to be surprised for the upcoming movies, but do you know if that that one guy in the post-credit scene is coming back, the one where it's like you misused magic and he's like killing a bunch of folk?
Chiwetel
Mordo?
Oh, I was naming the actor name.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
My boy Chiwetel Ejiofor. I don't know. He was supposed to be. People were saying he was going to come back in like Doctor Strange 2, or they were theorizing. But I mean, the stakes are much bigger now. I don't see him playing a huge role.
And
he might.
He goes after Wanda because she's misusing magic.
Oh, and then them two going against Doctor Strange.
Her murking his ass and just taking him off the map. Like, there's no way he's gonna. He took back magic from dude. What's he gonna do against Wanda? Oh, you can't stand up straight now, huh? So.
I know that she obviously, we already know it too, so this isn't like a spoiler or anything, but like we know that she's supposed to be like in Doctor Strange 2, and then we know that Nightmare is supposed to be the bad guy too, but I feel like maybe Nightmare is even do you think Nightmare is working with Wanda, or like
I have no idea.
Somehow
I feel like anything we guess,
it's going to be wrong. I'm glad that none of our theories came true, because then something becomes predictable.
That's true. Yeah.
And what is a predicted theory but predictability? I'm going
persevering.
You keep adding persevering to every text you send me. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. It's not poignant.
Wanda's this shit is persevering. Just let me shit.
Yeah, dude, Dottie just came through and she was just like, I'm not Mephisto. Why are people saying I'm Mephisto?
Oh, that was a theory that I think Matt said, where all the kids are just locked in their rooms. They're just like kind of powered down. Where Dottie was like, please just let her out of her room. Let me hold her. Like, that answers that question. So
let me see your shirt. We didn't go over the shirts in the beginning.
I don't have anything.
That's nice. That's clean. Black and white. Mine is
black and white. Nice, dude. Is that from Box Lunch?
I got it off Amazon. I don't know. I think it's official Marvel gear.
At first, I just saw.
What are you wearing, Kuya?
I said I don't have.
Oh, you look like Agatha. I like it. That's what she wore.
I should have drawn my eyebrows darker. You know how she had those monster eyebrows?
You literally look like a witch right now, though. What is that?
Messed up, dude.
I tried doing like my hair.
Abercrombie and Witch.
I tried to make my hair so that it would have horns like Wanda's.
Time out. I didn't write that.
You wrote it down, dude.
I didn't write it
down.
It's on a post-it. I just take that off.
Yeah.
I thought, because I could just see the top of it, I thought it was Mr. Sinister. I was like, what does that have to do with this episode?
It is kind of the diamond, yeah. All right, so next week, there's a lot of shit dropping. The 18th is going to be the Snyder Cut for Justice League. The 19th is going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier. Did they say how many episodes they're dropping? Just one? Okay, so maybe we cover both.
Total.
Okay.
You think we can?
We could probably cover both.
I'm down for whatever.
I mean, Snyder Cut depending on how different it is from the OG.
Oh,
we'll
okay.
see. If there are a lot of differences,
I don't think I'm gonna watch both to compare.
I mean,
I watched the original a long time ago. I don't remember.
No, I'm not gonna watch.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that either.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna either. And then 18th, Hawkeye comes to the Marvel's Avengers game, which I'm gonna be playing. So I don't know when I'm gonna get to the other stuff. Comment on what you want us to cover.
Oh yeah,
Jace. Okay, everybody, that's gonna do it for this episode of Maganda Forever podcast. That's Monica.
That's Matt.
And that's Vince.
What is next episode but this podcast persevering? Later, everybody. They want us on set for reshoots.
Videos off.
Check. All right, let me fix this chair real quick. All right, I got this. Hugh Jackman, Gene Hackman. Whew, all right. So, you had a bunch of theories that didn't turn out. Dirt! I said dirt again. I said dirt.
on the last one, you said weren't also.
All right.
You switched it up.
Hang on.
Dude, I love Dirk Nowitzki. He's one of the best.
I'm not Wakandan, but my bionic arm enhanced. Just say the words, I'm activated like a Nazi trance. Catch vibranium to your cranium, wanna glance. Full body cast from a Cyclops optic blast. I doubt you crews prepared for this hit. Catch a glimpse of who I'm with, have you scared of the clip? No heart-shaped herbs or any terrigen myths. I'm taking out your ankles on some anti-carrion shit.